discuss some fifth chapter, some shloka. I think today is Sunday. Am I sure? Yeah, today is Sunday. Yes. So Gita, we discuss little bit. Labhante Brahma Nirvanam Rishayakshina Kalmasha Chinnadvaidhayatatmanaha Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. I think last week we didn't have, I don't remember. Anyway, he gets a Brahma Nirvanam. I think we were discussing the idea of Nirvana. Yeah, if I remember correctly. We said the Nirvana or your concept of freedom. Nirvana is a freedom. Your freedom depends upon how you define your bondage. How you define bondage depends upon what you feel as bondage, isn't it? Because all people want freedom. This much is certain. Everybody, every human being or every living being for that matter, wants freedom. This is true. This is a fact. But freedom from what? Freedom from what you feel as bondage. Okay. Then what is it you feel as bondage? This differs from person to person. But one thing is true, that everybody feels bound. Everybody feels bound. Everybody feels bound because whatever restricts him, constrains him, is bondage. Whatever controls him against his wish, against his interest. If you love it, sometimes, see, the problem with human beings are, sometimes what you feel as a bondage, certain other person may not feel. Other person may not feel because he feels that situation, he loves it. That means if you love a situation or a certain act, certain relationship, if you love a situation or a relationship, being related to somebody or something, or being in a situation and doing certain things, experiencing certain things, among these actions, experiences, relations. Okay, three things. Relations, actions, experiences. Out of these things, if you feel anyone is a matter of joy for you, then you don't feel bound. When you don't feel bound, or if you have no complaint against something, but you complain against something else. Something else is a problem, not this. Something else is a problem and not this. Another person complains against something else but not this. So here, if you have a complaint against something, that means you don't like it, you don't want it, you want it to be different. This is bondage. As long as you love something, you don't feel that it is a binding on you. So this way you can see person to person things change. There are certain common things which everybody wants. But even those among those common things, certain things people are not so particular. Some people don't mind having that. Okay? Some people don't mind having certain things, having certain relationships, certain rules, certain restrictions. If they get what they want, they don't mind certain bondage, certain lack of freedom. See, the freedom, some people say they make it a political thing, that everybody wants freedom. In a way, it is true, but not all the time true. But not unanimously, universally. It's not universally. Because the bondage, the freedom, differs from person to person, and also in the same person from time to time. At some time you feel certain thing as a bondage. At some time you feel certain thing as a bondage. But another time your mind has changed. So what you felt earlier, you are not comfort. What you felt was very happy. What you felt was very nice with you. Now you start feeling uncomfortable with it and you don't want it. Okay. Now what you didn't want before, now you want it. What you wanted before, now you don't want. That means your interests change. Your liking changes. Your being fond of it changes. You loved it, liked it before. Now the same thing, it changes. Okay. This is the human nature. But in and through all these experiences, there is underlying love for happiness, love for freedom. That's why in Vedanta, we first examine and diagnose what is it human being wants. What is it I want? That means what does really make me free and happy? Freedom includes happiness. So each one defines the problem or a bondage slightly differently, depending upon his maturity level. So what makes this difference? It is our maturity level. All people are not equally mature. Mature means what? Capable. Maturity means capable. Capable of what? Capable of discerning, capable of recognizing, capable of understanding or cognizing the problem. Some people, the human needs, human desires, you have certain experiences, certain relationships. In that thing, you feel that you get some happiness, some pleasure, some joy, something which interests you. You don't complain it, although you have some complaint about a part of it, but you may not want to get rid of it completely. A part of it you don't like it, but you know a part of it you don't like, but another part you like it, so you tolerate and get along with it. So some people say we want complete freedom. Other people say we want freedom, but not so completely, but not so much. Therefore, a part of it we don't mind. So these are all the difference in interests of people. These difference in interests shows that one common point is everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be immortal. Nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to exist. Everybody wants to be totally, everybody wants to be free from ignorance. See, this ignorance also is relative. I want to know something, somebody wants to know something else. Somebody doesn't mind a little ignorance of certain things. See, some people have curiosity about science and others. What is this? Why this happens? Why clouds come? Why rains come? Why sun rises and sets and all this? Some people may not be so curious about it. I say, even if I know what am I going to get, so I'm not interested. Some people are interested in politics, some people are interested in science, some people are interested in history, some people are interested in tourism and something. Here again, even regarding the knowledge, some people are particular bothered about a particular thing and not so serious about certain other things. So here again, person to person, the interest in knowledge, the desire for knowledge changes, varies from person to person. But ultimately, nobody wants to be ignorant if particularly that piece of knowledge, that ignorance bothers you. See, generally we are all ignorant. But ignorance of a particular thing bothers us at the moment more seriously than other ignorance. A particular ignorance means a lack of knowledge. A particular lack of knowledge bothers us more at the moment than the lack of knowledge of certain other things. Okay, so the lack of knowledge is a specific to your situation. The lack of knowledge, which everybody complains, everybody wants to be free from lack of knowledge or want of knowledge or ignorance. But at each time, a particular lack of knowledge alone bothers him more. At each point, a particular bothers him more. Okay. But in general, there is always some need of some knowledge at each time, at each situation, at each conditions. Each time something we need to know, and ultimately I want to be totally free from complete kind of ignorance. I want to be always existence. I want to exist, and I just want to remain eternally existing. I don't want my existence to be wiped out. Okay, you may like your existence in a different form in different area, but your existence you don't want to wipe it out. You want to continue to exist in some form, in some area, in this thing. Then experiences. You may love some varieties of experiences, change in experiences, but every experience you want to be continuously happy. It should be continuously happy. The pain and sorrow and frustration, depression, all those things hurt us deeply. The insecurity, the fears, the worries, they bury us, they bother us. Fears, worries, insecurity, tensions, this nobody wants. So this may look tentatively fluctuating, varying from person to person. Yet Vedanta observes all these experiences, all these our desires, and tries to find out the inner real freedom. Some of the deeper level. So everybody wants freedom. Everybody wants happiness, but the layers and layers of freedom differs from person to person. The layer of freedom, the depth of freedom, the depth of happiness. Everybody wants happiness, but each one wants a deeper and deeper and happiness. So to be able to discover the deeper happiness, people need to be mature enough. Therefore, after going through certain experiences, people become mature and they want the deeper level of happiness, deeper freedom from insecurity, deeper freedom from all kinds of subtle problems, subtle insecurities, social insecurity, economic insecurity, psychological insecurity, all kinds of insecurity we want to be free from. Okay, so a person has to discover a deeper and deeper level of freedom. But at each time some kind of freedom we want. So here our freedom looks more relative. Our freedom looks relative to a given situation, given context, given thing you want to be free. But you want to be free ultimately, because the other situation is not my immediate botheration. Therefore you say, no, immediately I want this alone, other things I think of later, but at the moment I want to be free from this particular problem. Okay, each one wants to be free from a particular problem, but that I want to be free is common to all. I want to be free is common to all. How much freedom you want, freedom from which thing you want, you may like. So our generally we particularize, customize our freedom generally, but Vedanta looks at the inner core of your desire, inner core of all kinds of desires. So if you see the underlying desire of all these tentative desires, that means a tentative situational experiences, ultimately you want to be totally free. You want to be completely happy. You want to be eternally existing. You want totally happiness. Therefore, other person may define your freedom according to a given situation. Therefore, this is what you see: difference in religions, difference in various sadhanas. We don't call religion, in fact, because we see all of them are various traditions, various understandings. Each one defines bondage in one way and wants freedom. But one problem with these things is they want to impose it on others rather than understanding their own life and their own mind. They want to impose it on others that yes, everybody wants this alone, therefore everybody must have this. You should not desire other things. So this is where the problem arises. Otherwise, you love the people. See, this freedom and happiness. That means the freedom and happiness is so relative. Relative in the sense, as we have been discussing, somebody wants freedom from some point, another wants freedom from another point. That means tentatively you are interested in particular freedom from particular thing. Because people associate their bondage with a given situation alone. They don't see the total freedom. And one more thing is a deeper levels and levels, more and more deeper. To be able to discover the need of a deeper freedom, you require a mature person. You require to be a mature person. Okay. Abba. Just a minute. Yeah, now. So, and one more problem with human mind is addiction. Human mind gets addicted to certain relations, certain experience, certain things. Once you get addicted, it looks that within the addiction that is okay, that is nice for you. A person lives in that experience, lives in that addicted. That means an experience, you love it. You remain addicted. Addicted means you become interested in it. You like it, that's all. Addiction is a too negative word. People may think I'm too negatively talking. Addicted means you start liking it. So you like a particular kind of experience, and therefore you don't mind tolerating little bit a few inconveniences. You don't mind a lack of freedom in another area, because for you this is priority. This is important for you. When you think one is important, for sake of it, you don't mind you sacrificing your freedom in another area, because for you this is important. See, this way also you can see person to person different. For some people, one is more important and other things I don't mind losing. Another person says that is important and I don't mind losing this. See? So this way, person to person, this kind of interests change. And these interests, whatever you are interested in, that interest you have to lose that interest, and you go into a deeper level of life. This takes some time. A person, whatever he is addicted to, whatever he is fond of, whatever a kind of experience he is fond of, he should live in that experience for a long time. Over a period of time, he becomes fed up with it because his mind becomes mature, more deeper level. Then he thinks that this level is too small for me, too superficial for me, I want a much deeper one. So for a person to be able to desire a deeper joy, a deeper understanding, a deeper happiness, he should be disillusioned, he should be, he should be, no, disillusioned is a much deeper word. He should be disenchanted. He should be disenchanted with particular present experience, present achievement, present status, present power, money and power and experiences. If you are disenchanted, if you are disgusted with it, your mind becomes mature. The mature mind can discern a deeper level of joy, and it feels that these are superficial and I am interested in much deeper one. Okay. Person should become mature, means mind should become much purer. Otherwise, these addictions hold you to certain experiences. And you don't mind continuing in that, you don't mind losing certain freedom, and you want to remain there. That's why people's mind are of different levels, different maturity level, different understanding levels. Because of that, you can see them. Different things are presented as their freedoms, as their goals. That's why their concept of heaven, concept of Vaikuntha, or concept of their own loka. Loka means their own world. The world they are going to attain after death. So, different sampradayas, different sadhana, religious sampradayas, religious traditions, they have their own concept of freedom. Some people give priority, more importance to the otherworldly life and less to this world. Some people say this worldly life is more important than the later life. Some people give a balanced interest in both other world and this world, both. So the interest, the degree of interest, the percentage of your interest in this world and the next world changes from tradition to tradition or religious denomination to denomination. There are many religious denominations. To one religion to other, how much you give importance to this and the other changes. All this depends upon the maturity level of the person. Okay. So people have to go through various experiences to be able to discover, understand, get disgusted and overcome them, come out of them. Sometimes you get addicted and you are fond of it and you think that alone is the highest goal in life. Some people think that alone is the highest goal in life. You may take long time, years together, sometimes many janmas, many births. You may need 400, 500 years. That means you may need many janmas to be disgusted with it, and you look for a certain deeper level. Okay. That's why Hinduism says it is a journey, spiritual journey. Journey, you understand? Journey, a travel. It is a spiritual journey. So don't impose, don't fix, don't brainwash people. Just allow the people. People have to go through various things. Some people have to, see, even if you prohibit, even Bhagavad Gita discusses all these things. Some places I didn't discuss so many things, otherwise it will take years together. Therefore, the third chapter discusses like this. Some people get interested in certain experiences and they get stuck there. It is not easy to shake him from that experience and make him mature and take interest in a deeper level of freedom. Some people get stuck with certain experiences and remain there alone for a long time. That is called addiction. See, addictions also, some people live in that addiction. Take worldly example of addiction. You are addicted to something, some pleasure, some experience. So there are many addictions possible. He loves that addiction and he remains in that. Years together, 10 years, 20 years, when that addiction harms you, creates a disease in you, and you have to get operated and you lose something, and then you realize it, oh my God, this was a dangerous thing. Hereafter I don't want it. You come out of it. So some people take a long time to come out of that addiction. Okay, that's why we need many janmas, many births. I don't know what you call it in my Indian language. We call janmas. Janmas means births. We need many janmas because many janmas means we have to live with certain experiences. Some people with a one or two experiences easily get disenchanted and disillusioned and move ahead into the next experience, next level of experience. Some people very easily go into the deeper experience, but some people, out of curiosity, they want to indulge in many other experiences, and they take a long time. They go through many experience, and after long time, after many janmas, they come back. Okay, so you can't make a rule that everybody should go through only this much. Okay, everybody should become mature enough. Everybody should want moksha, and we teach Vedanta to everybody. People have to go through many experiences. Okay. Some people take interest in one thing and remain there alone for a long time. You go to see the museum. Have you ever seen museum? Or if you go to any park, zoo park particularly, where animals live there, people go in a group, group of friends. So one piece in the museum attracts a person more. Other people have seen it for a while and then just move ahead. Okay. Or you go for a picnic or someplace you want to see sightseeing, we call in English sightseeing. You see something and you just see it for a few minutes, 2 minutes, then you proceed with the next. But some other people, love very thing, he remains there alone for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And he says, this is very nice. I love here. I love to see this. I remain here. Okay, you go ahead. Other things I am not interested. I love this alone. I remain here. Throughout our day of experience, this picnic, in this whole day of picnic, I want to spend more time with this. Okay, if you are interested, you can go ahead. You go and see and come back. I remain here alone. Because one person likes one thing and remains there alone. Now, can you force him? No, you must not see. Every place you must see only 2 minutes, not beyond 2 minutes. Can you control a person like that? Similarly, some people like some pleasure, some experience, somewhere they get stuck. Some people go round and round and take they take a long time. They have to go through many experiences and then they come to this deeper level. Some people with few experiences, they get disillusioned, disenchanted and come to directly to Vedanta. So you can't force people because human minds are varied. Human minds, the natures, the interests, the constitution of human mind is varied. People have to go through many experiences, and each experience has got good and bad. Sometimes good and bad. The problem comes when we live together. When we live together with another person, you have some interests, some taste, other person has different interest and different taste, and getting along together is become very difficult. See, that's why these days these marriages, divorces are too common because the variety is too much. And they don't know how to take, even the relation is also part of sadhana. To get along with people also is a part of sadhana, because you need this experience brings a new problems, new challenges, and I have to face. By facing itself, I learn. My constitution, my mind changes, my mind becomes purer, deeper. Okay, the very challenging experience itself brings about a new change in me. So if you take it as a sadhana, all these various problems, that means if these experiences are meant to teach you something, a deeper level of life, then the life is useful. Some people have a lit experience for a short while, then they discover it, they understand its limitation and proceed to the next. Some people take longer time to get disillusioned with it. Therefore, they stick on to it for a longer time. Some people get out of it, overcome it very fast. Supposing taste for money, interest in money. Some people acquire money and live with money for some time and a short while, then they say, oh, it's enough. Money is too superficial, I want something. You want some artistic taste, or you want some poetic or some kind of service, and some other interest attracts you and you lose interest in money. Some people, no, that interest in money, taste for money doesn't leave him. Whole life it catches him. It engages him whole life. Sometimes many janmas, 2-3 janmas he holds on to it. Then when he realizes it, he overcomes it. Okay? Now you understand the difference in human nature. But the depth, we see the depth. Ultimately, you have to come to a deeper level. Still deeper, still deeper. It depends upon your maturity level, your purity level. If your mind is purer and purer, you go to the deeper and deeper. Then when you come to the deepest level, that's where we say you want a total freedom. Some people want a partial freedom. That's why we call them heaven and Vaikuntha, Brahmaloka, or other things. All these things are tentative stages. You like some kind of experience is good, and you think that that is freedom and stay there alone. That's why you see how the Islamic concept of heaven, or a Christian concept of heaven, or some various concepts of heaven. Certain other people, particularly of Vedantins, it looks that it is too childish to have such a heaven. But for some people, the Islamic heaven, Christian heaven is so attractive, so attractive. They don't see any deeper level. A simple pleasure, physical pleasure, live for a long time there, that's all. The same taste of a tongue. See the desire, the pleasure of a tongue, the pleasure of a senses. Sense pleasure alone, it will be for a long time you have it, and you think that that is great heaven. That means his maturity level is too low. For him, that alone looks as a great. But for others, it looks too superficial, too childish. You see, the child likes chocolate. And is there any greater thing? You give a chocolate, oh, child is so happy, jumps and dances and smiles and all. And people say, what joy is there in just living a sense pleasure of living a chocolate, eating a chocolate? It looks so superficial, so childish. Because people cannot feel. You see, to be able to feel deeply you have to feel. So the mind has to be more sensitive. Heart has to be purer. A purer mind can be sensitive to a deeper level. Your mind should become sensitive to the deeper level. Okay. Vaster level, deeper as well as a vast, wider level. This is called the inner growth. Therefore, we say religion is inner growth. It is not liking a fixed thing. It is an inner transformation, inner growth. Growth in terms of your maturity, sensitivity, understanding, values, and all that. You become subtler and subtler. Okay. Even in that maturity level also, people express their maturity in a different way. Some people little bhakti type, some people with ritualistic type, some people little yogic type, meditative type. some people more in social relational type. Okay, but in all those things the depth may be there, but still the field, the area you express your depth may again differ from person to person. That's why Hinduism, I usually say, I generally say, Hinduism encompasses as much of variety as the world is. World is full of variety. Hinduism accepts all that variety as much as the world itself contains. Because we allow all kinds of things. But we see the underlying is you have to grow inwardly, transform, change, become deeper. Otherwise, you get stuck. Generally, we encourage people not to get addicted to things. You may use it, but learn from it. Those who don't want to learn. See, some people are learning type, some people are emotional type, some people are pleasure oriented. Pleasure oriented people get stuck, they get addicted. Some people, learning type of people, don't get addicted. They watch the experiences, try to see, understand something, and move on to the next level. Sattvic type, because they want to understand deeper level. Some people don't go because for them more than the depth, holding on to a event experience is important. He remains stuck there alone. But there is a chance of becoming a negative also if you get addicted to. That's why we call brainwashing. Brainwashing means your mind gets conditioned. Certain ideologies, certain experiences, certain ideologies, certain emotions and religions, they fix you. That's why you take to one ideology, one dogma, either dogma or ideology or an experience. Or sentimentally you get attached to one thing and get addicted there. Now you refuse to see other thing, you remain there alone. It may become negative also. Sometimes it becomes a negative. That's why you see the problem in the world. It becomes a negative addiction. Negative addiction means that addiction feeds on further violence and destruction and harm to others. By harming others, you get a pleasure in it. It is something like a sadistic pleasure. People get addicted to sadistic pleasure. By torturing others, by controlling others, by humiliating others, you get a joy in it. To come out of this addiction is more difficult. Then we classify that negative addictions. A positive interest in certain thing is okay. You may get stuck with certain experience for a while, for a few years, later you come out. But if that addiction is too negative addiction, very harmful, you start enjoying in terrorizing people, in subjugating people, hurting people. You become a sadistic person, then that is an asura. That's not a spiritual growth. It is a negative thing. It is a falling rather than rising. It is falling. Therefore, in inner growths, so it may be this getting addicted to certain idea, certain ideology, certain sentiment, certain dogma, certain experience, may be an individual or it may be a group also. All group has got a similar addiction to one thing called dogma. Means all people have a similar addiction. Now they think that all of them, this is common to us. Not only to us, then they start imposing on the entire world. They say everybody loves this alone, everybody wants this thing alone, there is nothing beyond it. If you like something else, they say it is something wrong. Loving this addiction alone is right. Not loving this addiction is something wrong. You are a satanic. You are a Satan. Satanic it is. God means only you love this alone. So this also is a negative addiction, negative problem. So a person has to come out of all these things, has to grow out of all these things, discover inner maturity, much deeper, then ultimately you transcend your individuality, your mind, whole thing. That is called Brahma Nirvanam. It is in the layers and layers, your emotion gets purified, your sensations get purified, You transcend your level of sense organs and level of mind, then your intellectual concepts, ideas and ideas also you transcend. Then you become not only you transcend, you dissolve your individuality, you become a universal being. So you are no more an individual. Identify with body, a set of sense organs, body and mind, certain experiences. Therefore, Brahma Nirvanam. Nirvanam means, the Buddhistic concept of nirvana means simply dissolving. But Vedantic nirvana means not only you dissolve a lower level, you discover a higher level. Buddhistic interpretation of nirvana looks a little more negative. Buddha himself told, nirvana is comparable to putting out of a lamp going out, a flame going out. Flame going out means what happened? He always gives this example. You can see the Buddha's own teachings, direct teachings of Buddha, not the later followers. Later followers also meant the same thing. But if you read Buddha's teachings directly, he says the lamp going out. That's all. People asked questions, what happens in the state of nirvana? He says there is a lamp. Buddha says there is a flame. The flame you put out, what happens? There remains nothing. Similar is the experience of nirvana. But Vedantins say a limited experiences, a superficial experiences, a limited individuality dissolves. In the dissolution, you discover yourself a deeper level of you, a vaster level of you, an infinity of you, a completeness, infinity transcending time and space and all that. Therefore, there is a deeper discovery which is eternal, pure, conscious, and all pervasive and all inclusive. So that's why we call Brahma Nirvanam. We don't call simple Nirvanam. Buddhism calls simple Nirvanam. Just general Nirvanam means Nirvanam putting out of individuality. Vedantins say not only putting out, melting away of individuality, but discovering an inner core in you, a deeper, vaster, a fuller core in you. It is infinite core. Therefore, labhante brahma nirvanam rishaya kshina kalmashaha. Kshina kalmasha. See, the main point is kalmasha is impurity. Impurity has to be removed. Mind has to become purer. The ego, negative, all the negative qualities should go away. The spirituality begins where all the negative qualities go away. But if you retain some negative quality, then it becomes asuric. Asuric, we say it is an asura. Asura, you understand the Sanskrit word, asura. Negative, demoniac. So demoniac is not a spirituality. Rishaya, therefore he becomes a rishi. Chinnadvaida, he becomes free from all doubts. Doubts means the very concepts, ideas, the conceptually, all logical thinkings, ideas, concepts, everything, whatever the mind can think of, whatever mind can feel attached to, all that emotional attachment level mind transcends. Mind transcends all kinds of emotional attachments, various emotional waves. It becomes an infinite wave. Emotionally, it becomes a simple love without any wavy nature. It becomes a universal love. And intellectually, it is not bound to any concept, any ideology. It transcends all logic, all ideologies, all frameworks of good and bad. It transcends everything. It becomes one with the infinity. Okay, therefore, Chinna Dvaida, it becomes free from all doubts. Then Yatatmanaha, so their mind, sense organs loses the urge to do something. See, the urges are two. In my urge, I want to achieve something, I want to enjoy something. Or I have an urge to control others also. Any kind of urge controls you. See, just as an external control is a lack of freedom, your inner urges also control you. See, we have got two bondages. One is an external bondage, another is internal bondage. My internal urges also bind me, control me. I should be free from my inner urges. That requires a lot of maturity. So one is external bondage, another is internal. External means social, economic, and political. They bind us, they restrict us. But your inner urges also restrict you. It says yatatmanaha. People have got a self-control. Self-control means you come out of those inner urges that bind you, that control you, that pressurize you. The inner urges, inner desires that pressurize us, control us, restrict us, you come out of those desires, inner urges, yatatmana. You become so spontaneously self-controlled person. Then sarvabhuta hite rata. In fact, we had to discuss this sarvabhuta hite rataha. This one last word, I think we had to discuss in a previous class. In the last class, we went to some other topic. Some other means another aspect of it alone. But this remains. Still, we have to discuss sarvabhuta hite rataha. I think we will discuss this. Time is up now. In the next class, once we discuss, we will proceed with the 26th shloka. But in 25th shloka, this last one word is there. Sarvabhuta hite rataha. A person is interested in the good of all beings. The good of all beings is a great quality of an enlightened person. That means for sadhakas also should learn this quality of being in the interest. That means being being fond of or loving the good of everybody. Sarva bhuta hite rata. This expression is very beautiful. We'll discuss more of it in the next talk. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.